get the most out of a strategic planning workshop, how you set up the day is very, very important. The first 15 to 30 minutes is critical to the success of the day. Now, one of the things that I like to use during that sort of setup phase of the day is a reflection on personality types. Now, sometimes the businesses you work with maybe already have done some different personality tools within the office, but the one I naturally gravitate to is the Myers-Briggs. And Myers-Briggs has 4 key factors. And what I tend to do is prep for the start of one of these strategic planning workshops is have a look at the personality types we have in the room. I get all their scores for all of the 4 different factors of personality types of the different people. And I get them to do an exercise where they line up in order of the strongest, for example, the first factor, extrovert and introvert, the strongest extrovert at one end of the room, the strongest introvert at the other end of the room. And I ask the people to put themselves in the order of strongest E to strongest I. What that does is that gives us an indication of the mix of people within the room. And quite often you'll get some funny observations, like if you've got a lot of extroverts, they'll actually be standing there talking, and the introverts will be down the other room just sitting there quietly waiting for the next instruction. Now, this is really important for the setup and the success of your strategic planning workshop, because you can call out the different personalities within the room. And for example, use that as an example to say, okay, you extroverts down that end of the room, you need to be very aware that these guys down here, they might need you to stop talking for a little bit so that they actually get some time to contribute their input, or maybe we need to specifically ask them for their input. So with the Myers-Briggs, of course, you've got the extrovert and the introvert. That's probably the most commonly sort of talked about one. You've got sensing versus intuition, which they use an N for. And sensing is all about details, facts, whereas intuition is more about patterns, possibilities, those types of things. The third one is thinking and feelings. I think this is probably the other one that has a big impact on the room and the people in the room and how they work together. Thinking is looking for logical reasons for doing things, whereas feelings is probably looking for the emotions, or looking for how does it make me feel, or how will this affect my team, those types of things. And the last one is judgment and perceiving. And judging and perceiving, that's more about we like making plans and sticking to it. Over here, we're happy with change. We're actually okay with change. So when you talk about those 4 different factors and you get everybody in the room to look at their scores and reflect, it's really valuable to get them to make observations about who's in the room so that they can take that into account for the rest of the day or the rest of the workshop.